Okay, I'm recording so that I can remember these thoughts. So,
Okay.
Asawako, I'm going to teach you about sociology, okay? Because that's what this book's about,
Okay, good.
all right? Because I'm doing a book review on the book called Awake, Not Woke, okay? And the thing
Wake,
about it is, yeah,
wake, not walk. Yeah, wake, because wake is dead. Walk is awake. Walk is open, aware.
well, my PowerPoint's messing up.
Again,
Yeah.
oh, there's many cyber, hard-headed cyber.
No, it's because my computer. I need to get my computer fixed. Fixed.
Wow.
See, I'm talking like you fixed it. All right. If it doesn't stop in a second, I'll have to change my plan. Okay, it stopped. All right. So listen,
It's just
the
slow.
title for the book I'm doing is Awake,
Not wake, not walk.
Not Woke, right?
You said earlier is wake, not walk.
It's Awake, Not Woke.
Oh.
See, when you wake up, Janet, what you say is, I just
Awake.
awake. Yeah, that's how you talk, but that's not right. You would actually say, I just woke up, or I just awoke, right? I awoke, or something like that.
I woke up.
But what woke means is when you are conscious of a certain way of thinking, basically. Okay. And it's usually liberal thinking, not conservative thinking. And I'm not talking about liberal conservative politically, even though sometimes that's related, but more the difference between conservative Christian values versus worldly secular values. Okay. So the Bible tells us to be awake. If you're awake, you're aware of something, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's good to be awake, but it's bad to be woke. Okay.
It's bad to be woke.
Yes. And the way we're using it, because it's the worldly counterfeit version of things. So let me ask you if you've ever heard of this term. Critical race theory. Have you ever heard of this one?
Critical race.
Yeah, critical race theory. You ever heard of that?
I don't know, but if I want to defend the words, I think I have an idea.
Okay, tell me what idea you think you have.
Critical race theory. It depends when you grow up, the way you are.
Well, it's true that, well, that's one view, is that people are taught racism.
Yeah.
You have to be taught racism. Okay.
No, not racism. The way you are because the thoughts of this is the way you are because you're living in the Philippines. You are not the same as thought as American because you are not American.
That's similar. That's similar. That's nationalism. That's based on nation.
Nationalism.
No, it's similar idea. Okay. So let me give you an example. Whenever we're born into this world, right? Even before we know that God exists or whatever like that, yeah. we sin. We're not aware that it's a sin. I mean, that, and I guess in a sense we're not held accountable to it because babies don't go to hell, and children that can't comprehend the gospel don't go to hell, or things like that, right? But you're taught certain things in this world. However, one thing that seems to happen is everyone, even little kids, they they have prejudice, all right? Because the word prejudice, D-U-D-G-E, I think it is, prejudice comes from prejudge. You judge beforehand. So one time I was in 6th grade, Asawako, and I was at the park, and there was a black kid, and the young black kid, right? Maybe, I don't know, real young, maybe 4 or 5 or something.
Yeah, because you're white.
Yeah, and well, this is no, it wasn't because I was white. It's because I have freckles. And it's like, ew, why does he have all those spots? Maybe because in his mind, he thinks spots means you're sick, right? Or things like that. Or some people were against Michael Jackson because they say, oh, they didn't really believe that he had a skin disease, and all that. But my point is, everyone prejudges something. It's not wrong to judge, and we all make assumptions. When you're a little kid and you see a car on the road, somebody teaches you that's a car, right? So every time you see a car, you're going to think that's a car. But then you see a truck and you try to call a car a truck, and they say, no, that's a truck, or no, that's a van. No, that's a motorcycle. So you learn to discriminate. You learn, okay, a car looks like this, a truck looks like this, and so on, right? So everyone prejudges, okay, on different things. If a person is not judging based on the color of their skin, they're judging based on social economic status. Are you rich? You're poor, or things like that. There's that aspect. And if it's not that, then it's oh, you're a hypocrite. You're self-righteous. You think you're better. Oh, you're Catholic. You're this. You're that. There's always that involved, right? Okay. So you cannot change the fact that we are all prejudiced, that we all prejudge. All right. So you're right that you grow up and you're taught. The idea is that you learn racism from other people. If your parents were racist,
but in my side, we didn't teach the racism. I don't know that. The only thing is you are poor and I am rich. Only
okay, right, class. And see, the thing is, we know in reality there's only one human race. Acts 17 says God created from one blood all mankind, right? One race. So rather than the term racism, we're really talking about ethnicity.
Ethnicity, yes.
But they're both talked together. So races could be black, white, they're talked that way. I think for Christians, it should be discussion of ethnic distinction, Yes. But anyway, critical race theory basically is a negative thing that you will hear many Christians warning about, because critical race theory is basically, I mean, if I'm going to be oversimplistic when I say this, but if you're white, you're wrong. Okay?
If you're white, you're wrong, and if you're black, you're right.
Yeah, that's an oversimplification. Okay.
So the black are intelligent, are intelligent more on the white the black guy. I disagree.
Well, there's white supremacists that would argue for that, and there's black supremacists that would argue the other way. They think, oh, well, you're superior and things like that. Okay. So, like I said, that's an oversimplification. Now the issue is if you are a male, you are wrong.
What is that?
I don't know, but it seems like it's true in husband and wife. Seems like wife makes the man think he's wrong. But anyway, we're not getting So, all right. Now this is another one. If you're
No,
if you're heterosexual,
what?
SFT just tried calling me. I'll talk to him later. Because I'm doing this, I'm live. If you're heterosexual, you're
No,
wrong.
you are just recording, not
Huh?
live. You are just recording. You are not live.
I'm recording. You're right. You're right.
You can mute first, and then
It's okay. It's all right. Okay, I see what you're saying. I'll pause it.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean you post that, and I mean
So if you're heterosexual, you're wrong. Okay. Now, you understand what that means, right?
yes, but I don't agree.
We're not talking about agreeing right now. I understand. I'm just showing you that critical race theory and critical theory, okay? These are buzzwords that are used today. And every time I heard it from the very beginning, I'm like, I don't know why Christians are shocked. This stuff has been, because of my background in sociology, I know all about critical theory, you know, before it was ever called critical theory. So you also have this concept of intersectionality. I mean, intersectionality. Sometimes it includes sexuality. So here's the point. So Janet is a woman, right? Look at the line. The green is the woman, okay? But in addition to being the woman, Janet is Filipino, okay? But in addition to being Filipino, Janet is poor. Okay. And in addition to Janet being poor, Janet is Christian. Okay. And in addition to Janet being Christian, Janet is a specific doctrine. Okay. All right. So all of these things make Janet have a unique perspective. Okay. But so this helps you understand what intersectionality is. All of these things intersect to create your unique viewpoint and how you view the world, right? But all right, now I will do me. You ready? I am white. These are all negative, okay? I'll put this on here. I am white, okay? In addition to being white, I am male, okay? In addition to being male, I am, let's see, heterosexual, okay? And in addition to that, I am Christian and so on. So this is my point. The book starts out in the very beginning talking about women's college, right? Where they're celebrating that this all-woman college, you know, typically they would, where it says all men are created equal or something like that. I'm just quoting, paraphrasing here. They would change it to all women are created equal, and they would celebrate that, right? But then they had a problem, because then whenever you had different people, like let's say lesbian, transgender, uh, gay, everybody's yelling out different things at this celebration at this college. And so everything seems like nonsense, okay? So people would say, unless you are like this, you can't understand my view. And you're wrong, okay? And everybody's doing this to everybody. All right? You even have gays against transgenders. You know, you got all of this conflict going on.
Okay.
All right. So now, to back up, Now, I use the term intersectionality as just as a positive way and as a negative way. Some people don't like the term at all because they think, oh no, it's all negative. No, I think it helps you remember that there are things that affect your perception of things. It doesn't mean you're right or wrong, but it affects your perception of things. Okay. But anyway, so I want to talk about sociology in general, because like I said, if you understand sociology, you understand these concepts. So you had a guy, his name was August, I think it's Augusta or August. It's been a while since I've done any sociology stuff, but his last name, we would say Comte. Okay. And people call him the father of sociology. All right. He taught that society was moving from theological to metaphysical to a positivistic society. Okay. So in other words, you're moving away, society is moving away from what theology, like, okay, God done this, to more of metaphysical philosophy, other things in that, to positivism. Now, positivism was basically this idea that science and rationalism and reason was the key to everything. That we don't need God as much anymore, or we don't even need metaphysics because we have science, we have all these types of things. Okay. Well, as a result, one of the first views within sociology was called structural functionalism. Okay. Structural functionalism. And what they asked the questions, what is functional for society? Okay. Like how society works, what makes things work, what is dysfunctional would be like a social problem. You will hear sometimes even today, you hear people talk about dysfunctional family or things like that, you know? So you have the structural functional, and the early view of this was influenced through Christians. They focused on organization, they focused on reality, they focused on truth, but that didn't mean they had everything right. So their main issue was they wanted to talk about function and dysfunction. And it was all about the needs of society. Then there came another view that was called conflict theory. Okay. Conflict theory. Conflict theory basically says, look, the reason that there's dysfunction is because there's social inequality. There's rich people, there's poor people, there's powerful people, and there's powerless people. Okay. And so this was applied later on. First off, it was first applied economically because they were focused on social class, you know, not just how much money you had, but whether you owned land, the lifestyle you lived, all those factors like that, right? And different statuses that you had, those things like that. And it was first applied economically, but then it became about power. Okay, who's in power and things like that. And then it had to do with race.
Power.
Well, yeah, some people have said that. Then it had to do with race. Okay. So now it's being used for anything. It just deals with any type of conflict there is. But what's interesting about conflict theory, at least back then, is they believed that reality was real. When I took research methods class, We had to talk about how reality was evaluated. Can it be measured? You know, is it real? Is this a real problem? And so these views, structure functionalists and conflict theory, they focus on reality. But then there became another view, what's called symbolic interactionism. Okay. Symbolic interactionism basically said, look, we don't care about these big structures of society, and yeah, we recognize conflict and inequalities and everything, but what we want to focus on is the group level, from the smallest level, which is 2 people on up, and we want to talk about their interactions among themselves and their perception of things, right? So so that's what they focused on. And what you also have is you have a move from what is called modernism. Wait, let me go back to here. You got to move from what's called modernism to what is called postmodernism. Okay? Postmodernism, these over here tend to believe in some type of truth. Even if they don't believe in religious truth, they believe that through science and rationalism, we can get to the truth, right? But you get over here, and they don't believe in truth. They believe in truths, plural. I can't even spell right. Truths, plural. And then it's like, okay, what are truths? Is there no truth? And so they kind of contradict. There is truth, but there is no truth. All right. So these are the 3 main categories within sociology of how sociologists view things. So you have structural functional theorist, you have conflict theory, you have a symbolic interactionist theory. Okay. These are the 3 lenses that sociologists view the study of society, study of groups and group regulation and culture and all of that stuff. Okay. Now I want to go a little bit more detail about conflict theory. So you had a person named Karl Marx. Okay. But Karl Marx, the people that follow Karl Marx are often called Marxists. Okay. And Karl Marx, another term for this is communism. All right. Communism. Or another term for this is socialism. And another variation of this, you might hear the term social democracy. So communism, you know about communism?
Like China, they're coming.
Yes. So communism is the idea that everyone is a community, right? And because everyone's a community, no one should get paid more than the others. Everybody should contribute. And this means that we take money from you and redistribute it to other people so that you don't have rich people and poor people. Okay. But usually in such a systems, you have the haves and the have-nots. And usually in such a system, somebody is controlling who gets what. So there's still power. Somebody's still in power. Okay. Socialism is a little bit softer than communism because nobody likes the term communism. Socialism is a little bit softer, but it's still the same thing. And same thing with social democracy. It's a little bit softer. You know, certain things may be controlled, like free Medicaid, cradle to the grave, those things like that. I'm speaking in overgeneralizations here, but just to give you a general idea of things. So what Marx believed in the philosophy of a guy named Hegel. Okay. Okay. Hegel taught that there was a struggle between two ideas, a thesis and an antithesis or antithesis. Okay. And then when these two fight, these two ideas, this goes even to his philosophy and stuff of these constant things constantly fighting, and they come to a synthesis, a mixing together. All right. So he took this and he applied it, and this cycle repeats over and over again. But Marx took this idea, him and Engels took this idea and applied it to those that we're just going to use the word rich. So here's the rich, and then here is the poor. Okay. And then whenever the poor overthrow the rich, and you can either do it through revolution or you can do it through reform, but usually revolution. So what happens is the poor overthrow the rich, and it creates a new synthesis, a new world, something that's different. And so you could think of it as like the middle class. Okay. But you know what happens? Eventually it repeats again, because you're going to have people that want to overthrow the middle class. Okay. And or the way the current government is, and then it keeps happening on and keeps on repeating. So through conflict, the society changes. Okay. So that's enough to begin the study. Okay. Now I want you to pick up and start reading. Read this one more time and tell me what you understand here based on what we just talked about.
Marx had believed revolution was inevitable. Make it inevitable. Make it clear.
Inevitable means it's unavoidable. It's going to eventually happen.
Marx had believed revolution was inevitable, but in the aftermath of the First World War, German Marxists found themselves disappointed when it failed to materialize. In order to study what had gone wrong, they formed the Institute for Social Research, which came to be known as the Frankfurt School. The one bright spot for them was the Bolshevik Revolution in Moscow, and it was with great hope that the German Marxists looked to learn from Vladimir Lenin.
Right. Okay, so the thing to think about this right here is, like it's saying, Marx believed that this revolution could not be avoided. But then First World War happened. Do you know what happened in the First World War, Janet?
No, I didn't read history.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. So no, that's fine. We're going to go look at Wikipedia on the First World War, so you know a little bit about the First World War.
Marx is like admitting for his fault, so he's not right.
Yeah, but I mean, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna try to open up this document. Well, it may not let me. I got too many things going. If it don't open, we have to do it a different way. All right. So while we're waiting, okay, maybe so.
It's
right.
just low. Your computer is so it's loaded. Many things.
First World
Wiki,
War. Huh? Yeah,
Wiki,
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
All right. So this will give you an idea about just in general what the First World War was about. All right.
Owning country.
1914 is when it began. Okay. So
Mm.
go ahead, uh, start reading. We'll start reading right here. Basically, what happened is in I can't remember exactly where it was located, but there was an assassination of Ferdinand, and as a result, it started the war. But all right, let's go in detail.
World
Go ahead, start reading right here.
World War One. No.
All
July
right, Sarah,
28.
start right here. Start right here.
Why not there?
Or just
Oh,
start
there's
there.
an odd there's an
Yeah,
odd
that's the robot. Robot. Go ahead, read right there. World War One.
World War One, July 28, 1914. No, oh my goodness. What's that? It ended November 1918?
Yeah, it lasted 1918,
Oh
according.
my. Oh,
Go ahead.
wow.
Go ahead.
Often abbreviated as World War One, was a global conflict fought between two coalitions, the alien powers, or
Allied powers, not the aliens. Go
the
ahead.
fighting with allied powers and the central powers. Fighting took place throughout Europe and Middle East, Africa, and Pacific, and parts of Asia. Yeah, in the Philippines.
Let's see.
The first uh, the first decade of 20th century saw increasing diplomatic tension between why European is like, well, anyway, between the European great powers. Point on July, I'm sorry, on 28 June 1914, when a Bosnian Serb named Gavrilo Princip assassinated Art, oh my goodness, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne.
So Austria and Hungary. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hungarian throne, Austria-Hungary, held Serbia responsible and declared war on 28 July. Russia came to Serbia's defense, and by 4th August, Germany, France, and Britain were drawn into the war, with the Ottoman Empire joining in November the same year.
Ottoman
Germany struck
Empire was Turkey at that time. Okay, go ahead.
Turkey. German strategy in 1914 was to first defeat France, then transfer forces to the Russian front. However, this failed, and by the end of 1914, the Western Front consisted of a continuous line of trenches stretching from the English Channel to Switzerland. The Eastern Front was more
So they
dynamic.
called it trench warfare because you would you would dig those trenches in the ground and fight from the trenches.
What trenches means?
Holes. You see them, the cracks in the ground?
Yeah.
I'll show you a movie later on that will help you understand this. Keep going.
Stretching from the England Channel to Switzerland. The Eastern Front was more dynamic, but neither side could gain a decisive advantage despite costly offensives. As the war expanded to more fronts, Bulgaria, Romania, Greece, Italy, and others joined in between 1915 and 1917. In early 1917, the United States entered the war. My goodness. On the side of the Allies, while in late 1917, the Bolsheviks seized power in the Russian October Revolution and made peace with the Central Powers in early 1918. So meaning the cause of the peaceful.
No, no, no. It's just saying when the U.S. entered into the war, but this is in Russia, basically, and it made peace with the Central Powers. Remember, the two categories are Allied powers versus Central Powers. So look at the picture. You see all the blue? I think the blue are the Allied powers, right? And the Central Powers are the green. Okay. So Germany, Austria, Hungary, Ottoman Empire, which is the Turkeys, and Bulgaria. All right. They were against all the others. So the Russians made peace with the Central Powers. Remember, we were on the Allied, and you can see it on this side right here. See? Allied powers right here. And then the Central Powers was right here.
Only them?
Yeah. There's a few others, but not important for our discussion.
But they are powerful.
Yeah. All right. Keep going.
Germany launched an offensive in the West in March 1918. But despite initial success, it left the German army exhausted and demoralized. A successful Allied counteroffensive later that year caused a collapse of the German front line. By the end of 1918, Bulgaria, the Ottoman Empire, and Austria-Hungary agreed to armistices with the Allies, leaving Germany isolated, facing revolution at home and with his army on the verge to mutiny. Kaiser Wilhelm II abdicated on November 9th.
Abdicated. That means he gave up the throne.
Huh?
Abdicated. It means he gave up the throne.
Abdicated on November. And armistice 3 days later ended the fighting. And the Paris Peace Conference imposed various settlements on the defeated powers, notably the Treaty of Versailles.
Versailles. Versailles.
Versailles.
Mhm.
Versailles.
Versailles.
Where's the C?
I don't know. Versailles. I can't say it right. Just pretend. Sorry.
Just to pretend. It says Versailles, not Versailles.
All right.
Versailles.
All right. Versailles.
Yes.
Versailles.
Yes.
I've always heard it as Versailles.
No, it's Versailles. Versailles.
All right. Okay. All right. You got me. Go ahead.
Versailles. The dissolution of the German, Austro-Hungarian.
Russian.
What did I say? What did I?
You said Roman. You're thinking you're in the Bible. Russian.
Yeah, Russia is in the Bible. The dissolution of the Russian, German, Austro-Hungarian, and Ottoman empires resulted in the creation of new independent states, including Poland, Finland,
Czechoslovakia,
and Yugoslavia.
Uh-huh.
World War I was one of the deadliest war in history and resulted in, my goodness, estimated 9 million soldiers dead and 23 million wounded, while 5 million civilians died due to military action. Hunger and disease, millions more dead as a result of genocide. And the devastation of the war heavily contributed to the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic. Oh, this one. 1918 Spanish flu pandemic. Oh, because of that, genocide. The inability
No,
to the manage.
genocide is when you're killing a particular race of people or ethnicity. Side means like homicide, you know, to kill. And
Yeah,
like the genes.
the devastation of the war heavily contributed to the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic. The inability to manage post-war stability contributed to the outbreak of World War II in September 1939.
Okay.
So after the World War II is on September 1939.
39, yeah. Yeah. All right. So now we need to go back in and I need to explain to you about the Bolsheviks so you can understand that. Okay.
So what we are doing now? Why we come doing this?
Because of the Bolsheviks. Remember, this one said Bolsheviks.
Hmm.
All right. Here, I'll tell you what. We'll go to Marxist first and then we'll come back to this. All right. So this is Karl Marx.
That's him.
Yeah.
He always have a gun on his chest.
Is that a gun? I don't know. But
Yeah,
anyway, I don't think so. But
that's people doing that because they have something in their hand.
okay. I don't know. Maybe it is different.
My assumption.
All right. Start reading right here.
Marx says critical theories about society, economic, and politics hold that human societies develop through class conflict in the capitalist mode of production. This manifests itself in the conflict between the ruling classes, known as the
The way I know the term bourgeoisie, I don't know if that's how you say it correctly, but bourgeoisie. It's the owners. Okay.
bourgeoisie that control the means of production and the means of production and the working classes known as the
Proletariat.
that enable this means by sealing their labor power in return to wages. Employing a critical approach known as historical materialism, Marx predicted that capitalism produced internal tensions like previous socio-economic systems, and that these tensions would lead to its self-destruction and replacement by a new system known as the socialist mode of production. What happened? Why it become short? It becomes short. Wait, what happened to my Zoom?
I don't know. I don't know what you're saying.
No, wait. There's something happening here that I don't. Where are you? It become participant closed captioning. What are you doing? Wait. How to maximize this one?
Touch it.
Oh, yeah. My goodness. What happened? Why it become like that? I didn't touch anything. Where am I? Okay. For Max class antagonisms under capitalisms, owing in part to its inability and crisis-prone nature, would eventuate the working class development of class consciousness, leading to their conquest of political power and eventually the establishment of a classless communist society constituted by a free association of producers. Marx actively pressed for its implementation, arguing that the working class should carry out organized proletarian revolutionary action to topple capitalism and bring about socioeconomic emancipation.
Okay.
Marx has
No, you don't need that part. So let's see if there's anything else I want to look at.
my goodness.
All right, so now
We
let's go back to the Bolsheviks.
Yeah, we are so blessed by God, Charlie, because that happened before is not happened this time. Oh, maybe you know, maybe it become worse actually. Yeah, there's an audio and all of that. So why not listening there?
Because it's a robot. I'd rather listen to my wife. All right.
Bolsheviks.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was led by Lenin. Okay.
Oh, is he Vladimir? Is he the one?
Yes, that's the one.
He is. Oh God.
You want to learn about Lenin real quick?
No, I can maybe later, not this time.
Okay. All right. So this is talking about the split. All right. And so the point is that Marxist ideas, let's see if I can find Marx in here.
Why it connects to the Bible that we are talking about?
Because we're talking about society. The book I'm reading, Woke Not Woke, it's talking about how Christians should respond to these wrong views. All right. So basically they applied Marxism in Russia, okay, with the Bolsheviks and all that. So it's sometimes called Marxism, Leninism, but okay, you got it.
Okay.
All right. What's going on?
You close wrong.
I'm closing wrong. Okay. So basically they wanted the Marxists, they had a victory, they felt like, in it says Marx had believed revolution was inevitable, but in the aftermath of the First World War, German Marxists found themselves disappointed because they thought they were going to bring up this revolution, right? And so to find out why they went wrong, they started the Frankfurt School. And one area where they did succeed was they wanted to study from Lenin. Okay. All right. So that first paragraph, if I was doing a descriptive summary in my mind, I would say something like this. The Marxists were optimistic, right? But really the only success that they had was with Lenin and the Bolshevik Revolution. And because it went so wrong, they created the Frankfurt School to be able to find out about that. So, I mean, it's a pretty similar summary, but okay, read the next paragraph and put it in your own words. You're now the summarizer. Go ahead.
In 1902, Lenin had already argued that Marxist revolution would not happen spontaneously. It would need to be brought to from wait, it would need to be brought to them from without through the influence of an activist class of intellectuals and professionals, soldiers and criminals, raising their consciousness to their oppression and converting their anger into revolution.
So the idea is you have to have people that wake up the poor people so that they will cause a revolution against the rich, powerful people. Okay.
Lenin thrived on stalking the
Proletariat. Remember, that's the working class, the poor people, basically.
The poor people
Yeah.
is stalking the
Yeah.
proletariat.
To stoke means to stir up the fire. When you stoke a fire, you stir it up. You put wood, like you say.
Don't put woods.
Yeah.
Thrive on stalking the proletariat and had a visceral lust for violence. In him, we see the early stratagem of justifying anarchy, violence, and destruction in service of action, change, and societal transformation. Lenin's solution was to give arm to detachment of workers and students and let them get on with revolutionary activity, regardless of whether they belong to the Russian Social Democratic Labor Party. The detachment should kill spies, blow up police station, and rob banks, and confiscate the resources they need to arm insurrection. You want to say something?
Yeah, so basically he's talking about how there needed to be some people that wake them up. And the way that he was waking them up was he was giving them weapons so that they would go and kill everyone, blow up things that they felt was against their goals. So revolution.
So you are the one who's,
like terrorism or freedom fighting, depending which way you look at it.
Okay, similarly, influencing the new direction of the Frankfurt School was the Italian communist Antonio
Gramsci.
He contended through his concept of cultural hegemony. That societal powers is not just through economic means, but also through cultural domination.
Domination. Okay, so Marx would focus on we need to control the means of production. In other words, if we control the buildings, the workers, the money, they call it capital, right? If you control all of that, then everything's good. But Gramsci was like, no, you got to affect the culture. Okay, so keep going. You got to dominate the culture.
The ruling class forwards values, morals, and ideas which benefit them. Christianity. Oh, the first time I read Christianity. Oh, we are in the book already. Okay, I thought that we still in the Wikipedia.
No.
And it's mentioned Christianity. Anyway, so Christianity was considered by Gramsci to be a particularly dangerous delusion that serve only to buttress
buttress means to support.
Buttress capitalism and the ruling class. The dominance of these ideas and norms relies on the remaining unquestioned. The duty of every person, therefore, was to be an activist pointing out this domination and fighting to subvert it.
So yeah, so basically Gramsci thought Christianity made you obedient and made you complacent, and therefore that supported capitalism and for the ruling power to be in class, because you were just, okay, Christian, go to work hard, be humble, trust God, he's in control of the government. And so they're like, no, we need to point out these things and fight it. Okay, keep going.
Hmm. Gramsci's work was famously reformulated in 1967 by the German student movement leader Rudi Dutch. What?
I don't know how to say German, so just call him Dutch. Go ahead.
Rudy Dutch. That that Dutch
Yeah.
coined the Dutch coined the phrase the long march through the institutions to indicate the necessary to raise revolutionary consciousness by infiltrating the influential institution in the West with what tentacles
Yes.
with tentacles rooted and far reaching. Marxists could radicalize cultural institute by convincing people
Cultural attitudes.
attitudes by convincing people of the oppression of the old value and norms. Eventually, Gramsci maintained a socialist hegemony would be established, making revolution possible where it once seemed inconceivable.
So he said, we just don't need to control all the capital. We need to control the culture. And because what's happening is who's ever in power, the ruling class, their ideas, their values, what benefits them, it's affecting the whole culture. So what we got to do is we got to infiltrate these institutions. So what that means is like getting into the colleges and being professors and using that as an opportunity to teach other things. Institutions are a way society basically meets needs. Okay. So education, religion, medical, all these different things that we're used to meet society's needs, government, bureaucracy, all these things. We need to infiltrate them so that we can change the atmosphere of the society so that we could eventually cause a revolution. We want people to show that the people in power, their values are oppressive. And now that once we show them that they're oppressive, the people will rebel against it and overthrow it in revolution. Got it?
Think so.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
The operatives of the Frankfurt School developed their own strategy of marching through the institutions in three main areas: the family, the academy, and the culture. Fleeing Hitler's Germany, fleeing Hitler's Germany, the Frankfurt School moved into Columbia University in 1935 with famed educator and Soviet sympathizer John Dewey, facilitating its incorporation.
So
Their mission,
John Dewey was one of the ones that had an influence on the school, if I remember right, public schools. So let's just type in John Dewey.
it's fine.
If it's the same one.
Uh,
Let's see. What was he best known for? Let's see. pragmaticism, functional psychology. Let me just type in schools. Pragmaticism. Where can I find it? It affected, if I remember right, he influenced a lot of our education system. But anyway, I can't find it right now, but that's how I know him. Or maybe there's another Dewey. I'll go back and look at that later. But okay, Sawako. Back to here.
Where am I?
Right here.
Their mission coincided. A movement towards neo-Freudianism.
Yeah, Sigmund Freud, the psychologist. Neo means new Freudianism.
Was already popular among much of the faculty at Columbia, and communist sympathizers were not uncommon, making it a natural and welcome home for the Frankfurters whom sought infusion of the two.
So this is 1935. So World War II is 39 and then to like 45, I think. So anyway, go ahead. The family. This is the
45?
first institution. No, 1935. That we're talking about that time now. Okay, now start here.
From Western society, according to the Frankfurt School, promoted a culture deeply resistant to revolution due to an internalized authoritarianism.
Authoritarianism is whenever you basically you have authoritarianism is, hey, I'm in authority, I have all the power, what I say goes. There's a difference between authoritarian and authoritative. You can be authoritative without being authoritarian. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. The means of promulgating this authoritarianism was by way of the patriarchal family. Of this, Ralph D. Toledano writes, in their subconscious, the earlier revolutionists harbored the very authority they were subverting, and they could only free themselves of this, according to the Frankfurt School, by tomcating and psychoanalysis. The next revolution would first have to dispose the father and install the mother. What that means?
The role of the father, because in an authoritarian, the father is the authority in a patriarchal family, the patriarch being the father, right? So they need to bring the father down and bring the mother up.
My goodness. It will be the Frankfurt School architects, many of them plagued by disturbing and perverse sexual histories, preach a doctrine of sexual and cultural freedom. Oh my goodness. The ideological fusion of neo-Freudianism and neo-Marxism would go on to shape the future of the progressive movement. Instrumental in discerning this new way forward was Georgi Lucas.
Something like that, yeah.
Lucas come from a wealthy Hungarian family, but despite his background and bourgeois state in life, he also detested gender role, marriage, and family in 1922, work, history, and class consciousness. He blamed the failure of the revolution to materialize on the psychology of the working class.
So this guy, Lukács, I guess you could say,
Lukács,
that wrote this book, he didn't like gender roles, marriage, or family. And he says that the reason the revolution did not happen as they thought it would happen was because of how the working class thinks. Okay, go ahead.
Lukács' lifelong themes were revolution and sex. Huh? Oh my goodness, I remember the promise of Allah to the devoted Muslim.
Yeah, that's a different topic.
I know. Lukács' lifelong themes were revolution and sex. As commissar of
Uh-huh.
culture in Hungary, he sought to alert the psychology of the working class by controlling the narratives presented to them. He instituted strict mandates on speech, banning any newspapers. Oh my goodness, it's already happened before, not just this.
Yes.
It's already banning any newspaper he deemed to be too bourgeois, censoring libraries, and instituting writers. My goodness, it's happened already again. Guilds with strict instructions on what could and could not be written. He, he sought to free children of parental authority by ending the religious instruction and replacing it with the radical, my goodness, sex education curriculum. That's already happened in the school now.
Yes, but this is the result of that. I mean, this is the cause. What you're seeing now is the effect. Their plan succeeded, is the point.
Yeah.
So according to this approach, you overthrow the father, you raise up the mother, you emphasize everything about sex, you get the children to not listen to their parents by getting them to stop getting religious instruction, and then you start teaching them sexual education in school, is what that's talking about. Okay, go ahead.
Where am I?
You're right here.
While controversial figure to some, Lukács was valued by Will Monsenberg, the operational head of Communist International. The two of them bonded over their mutual hatred of Western civilization and culture. They believed Western civilization was made up of many mansions. The morality that derives from the Old and New Testament and traditional family. The respect for the past as a guide to the future. The restraint of man's baser instincts and a socio-political organization which guaranteed freedom without license. Of these obstacles, the greatest were God and family.
So the communists that he's talking about were anti the Bible and the values of Christianity, is essentially what he's saying. Okay.
If authoritarianism was the subconscious obstacle to revolution, the remedy, according to Lukács, was psychoanalysis and the subversion of the father, making men lecherous,
Lecherous.
Lecturers would engender suspicion and distrust in wives and rebellion in children.
So if the men were not respected, then the wives would not trust the men and the children would rebel against them. So the attack was on the father. The attack was on the husband. If they could make the men just focused on sex and all of that stuff and make them failures, then the wives would turn against it and the children would rebel too.
Yeah.
Because what they're
Yeah.
doing is they're saying the reason the revolution didn't succeed, the reason Marx's ideas didn't succeed is because authoritarianism. We need to take down the family, we need to take down the religion in place for that, and then we will succeed by liberating the women and the children, supposedly. Okay,
Mm.
keep going.
Where am I? Making men like okay. Building on this goal was fellow Frankfurter Wilhelm Rich, born to a secular progressive Jewish family with an abusive and cold father. This it seems like Muhammad. Muhammad's father is like this. His mother carried on a long term after hidden from her husband, but with full knowledge of her son from the age of it seems like Muhammad.
Maybe I
Uh,
I don't I don't remember. I remember that according to the story, his grandfather was Muktalib, and he's the one that raised him.
the mother.
Uh, I don't remember about the father and the mother, but anyway, keep going.
Oh yeah. His mother carried on. His mother carried on a long-term affair hidden from her husband, but willful knowledge of her son from the age of 4. As a teen, he exposed his mother's affair to his father, the torment of which led his mother to commit suicide. His distraught father would attempt to do the same. From the
So the
early age
father was abusive. The mother was having an affair. He exposed the mother. The mother killed herself, and the father is in so much grief and stuff. He would attempt to do the same.
from an
Okay,
early
keep
age,
going.
which Rich was consumed by sexual desire and activity. In childhood, he had sexual encounters with maids and even sexual fixations with animal. Oh my goodness! As a young man, circa 1930, circa 1922, he became a
Protege
protege of Freud and
Freud.
continued this
Yeah.
life of debauchery, debauchery by taking on a broad range of lovers. He was also in armored in
Enamored.
am-
Yeah.
enamored with the writings of Marx and Engels and become a natural fit for the Frankfurt School. My goodness, after all of what he done, he officially joined the Communist Party in 1928 and then, my goodness, I almost there. Sorry. and intent on sparking revolution through the sexual liberation of culture. Though not the first, Rich was the most passionate about the need to unite socialism with sexual liberation. He was greatly aided by Freudian principles such as the subconsciousness of desire, the lively sexuality of children, the belief that repressed desire does not lose strength but leads to psychic disturbance, and the understanding that morality is always depressive. Along with the other, along with the others of the Frankfurt School, Rich believed the family was authoritarian, both mother and father. His 1936 book, The Sexual Revolution, commented his legacy as the
Cemented.
cemented his legacy as the father of the sexual revolution. Rex and the Frankfurt School, more broadly, was adamant that sexual repression was linked to political repression, prompting him to advocate for the personal and political necessity of individuality and the total liberation of the what libido
Yes, libido.
libido.
It's
His
just all talking about sex drive. Basically, you could do whatever you want sexually because that's what's holding us back politically. Anyway, continue.
his influence is particularly evident in his female disciples who promote in feminist theory pornography, lesbianism, and masturbation as tools to free women of the oppression of men. Luke, like Lukács, his aim of sexual liberation applied also to children, who Rex believed should be encouraged to pursue sexual exploration at the at an early age. To this end, of exceptional importance to Rex was mandate pre-pub pubis pubs pub pubescent
Prepubescent. Yeah, it means before puberty.
yeah mandate pre-pubescent sexual education while ostensibly for the sake of simply framing them on the facts of life. In reality, Rex it uh,
ETAL.
knew that sex education was a powerful Trojan horse. What Trojan? I remember
You don't know
Trojan.
the story of Troy?
Trojan, somewhat somehow I encountered Trojan. What are you doing?
Okay, look, I'm gonna show you a Trojan horse.
I remember something. Maybe you taught me already, Trojan horse.
Yeah, now you're gonna learn about it. All right, go ahead, read
It
this
was,
story.
my goodness, where is it? The Trojan horse was a wooden horse said to have been used by the Greek during the Trojan War to enter the city of Troy and win the war. The Trojan horse is not mentioned in Homer's
Iliad.
Iliad with the poem ending before the war is concluded, and it is only briefly mentioned in the Odyssey, but in the Aeneid by Virgil, after the fruitless 10-year siege, the Greek constructed a huge wooden horse at the behest of Odyssey, and hid as
Odysseus.
Odysseus and hid a select force of men inside, including Odysseus himself. The Greek pretended to sail away, and the Trojans pulled the horse into their city as a victory trophy. That night, the Greek force crept out of the horse and opened the gates for the rest of the Greek army, which has still sailed back under the cover of darkness. The Greek entered and destroyed the city under the war. Okay, Trojans is
So
the
they thought the horse was a gift, but inside there was men that were used to take over the city. So look, read this metaphorically.
A Trojan horse has come to mean any tricks or stratagem that causes a target to invite a foe into a securely protected bastion or place. A malicious computer program that tricks users into willingly running it is also called Trojan horse or simply Trojan. Ah, that's why. That's
Okay.
why I know the Trojan.
Okay. All right. So where was we? Right here. Exposition.
It's already 4 o'clock, Charlie.
All right. We'll land the plane after this. You studying with me helped me get motivated enough to look at the paper. And so tomorrow I'll make my descriptive summaries of this chapter and continue outlining. But okay, go ahead, read this.
Exposition at a young age to the mechanics and even images of sexual activity would encourage them to imitate and engage in such activity sooner than what would otherwise be likely. Away from the confines of parental authority, early sex education would cease and form their imaginary and corrode their conscience.
Imaginations that corrode their conscience.
You know what? That maybe uh, it seems like that makes sense now. False religion, false religion that have uh about that kind of similar, the sex thing. My
Yeah.
goodness,
Yeah.
I so many.
Some religions and cults do that. Yes, you're right. The
My goodness,
ideology. So they're just showing
that's
how it's been a communist tactic to attack the institutions that support what they called authoritarianism, which is the patriarchal institution and stuff. So
that's so mean because you know that's the devil work. You know what, Charlie? Because the sex is the most enemy behind marriage. I, I mean, if you're married, it's okay, but the people fall.
mhm,
That's why many people fall into pornography because of the flesh,
mhm.
and that's the reason also that the people uh willing to kill because of that.
Well, yeah,
Right?
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about in extreme situations. Not everybody
Yeah.
that looks at pornography kills.
No. I mean, no. What I mean is, Charlie,
I know you're thinking about
Charlie,
the
let me share
David
this
Wood
thing.
stuff you were talking about.
What David Wood? No, it's not. It's in my. I don't know where I'm. Why I'm thinking this. I don't know where it came from. But this is the things that I want to say. Um, this is only my assumption. Okay, I just want to share my thoughts. Is that okay?
Yeah,
What I
it's fine.
the most people want to do their best in order to gain sex. Okay, and my assumption, the reason we have this Allahu Akbar is because mm, uh, what jihadis
Yeah, that's
trained
what I
to
meant when I made the reference to David Wood. I was just talking about you're learning from David Wood.
it's not learning from David Wood. I'm learning about the Quran. The Quran, the Bible of the Quran. I read. You don't you didn't know that I read Quran?
When did you read Quran? When's the last time you read Quran?
When I was in Hong Kong, during David Wood.
That's my point. During David
No,
Wood.
it's not about David Wood. I just have an idea to read Quran because of the Muslims. If
Okay.
David Wood, if David Wood, telling about Muslim, I just want to know if he is right, if he is correct, he is, judging the Muslim.
Did
So
you ask for protection before you read it?
I know I have already protection.
Okay.
That's why every time that I have that, uh, you know, I always have, if I feel like I'm so, oh my goodness, maybe the Muslim, like that. Oh Lord, please help me,
No, I
guide
mean the
me.
false teaching, demonics.
Of course, because I know already.
Actually, God is already with us, and I know that already.
I
So,
know, but I still pray if I'm dealing with something false. I pray God
yes,
protect me because
sure. And that's why I go, that's why my conclusion is no wonder, no wonder, uh, jihadists or, those people really willing to kill in order for them to gain 10 virgins when they die. That's in the Quran.
I understand. I understand what you're saying.
And also, Charlie, look, Charlie, I read an art. It's not an article. Yeah, it's a part in the article that the sister telling about his brother. He went to Middle East and da 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 da. He's so nice, very cute brother, and then we come back home because he finished the study there, and then he looks like he's not the same. And he is the one who shout Allahu Akbar and killed many people.
Okay.
And what the words from his brother is like he is like uh virginized like that. He's like they are Charlie, it seems like this. I hope you can it's like
Well, don't say nothing too bad because I was going to ask you if we can upload this because this is a good video we made.
okay. Okay. Oh no, it's recording. Oh my goodness. I didn't know. I'm sorry, but I'm just sharing my own thoughts. Okay.
No, I know you knew we were recording, but you didn't. I was just said to record it for myself, but it become a good video. So I thought maybe if you give me permission, I can upload it.
When this become a good video?
The whole thing is good.
I can already say something about my assumption, and is that good also?
No, the introduction about sociology. We looked into Wikipedia. We did all these things.
My goodness, and look at this now. Then you want me this to upload? Not fair.
If you don't want me to do it, I won't do it. But I think people would like to see Janet natural.
My goodness, you're so mean. My husband is so mean. That's why I'm just comfy, feel comfy.
Yeah,
But
that's good. It's good. I like when you're comfy. You share your thoughts. You're not self-conscious. You just be yourself with me.
now I don't want to add something.
You're afraid to go back in too much detail. Okay, you can tell me that later. But are you okay with me uploading this one?
I don't know. I don't want to agree and I don't want to disagree. It's up to you.
Okay, I agree.
What did you
Okay,
agree?
so what do you want to tell the audience now that you know you're talking to them?
Oh,
Huh?
my husband is so mean.
The husband is so mean. If you tell me don't share it, I won't share it, but you can make an option. Do you want to review it first before we upload it? I'm just going to call it Teaching My Wife Sociology, Part 1.
And then at the end, they found something that I'm telling about the Muslim and jihad, whatever that is. David Wood also starring in this. Oh my goodness gracious. My goodness. And I was just sitting pretty and feel comfy on my bed, and then and not being aware of about myself.
Yourself is fine. You were little bitty. You were very small in the screen most of the time until I stopped sharing. So it's okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, and I shared this thing. You already stopped sharing. You can review, and then it's up to you. I trust you.
Okay, I'll let you review.
I let you review. No, I don't.
All right, then I decide that this is a good winner.
Oh, no, Lord. My goodness.
This is one of Janet's greatest hits.
Mhm.
It's so mean.
Janet would go viral.
No, you always say that.
Would they listen to you more than they listen to me?
No, but the thing is, what I shared is not, it's not good. So, about the jihadis,
About the what?
about the Muslims and
Okay,
jihad.
well, it's fine. It's in the topic of sociology. It's acceptable.
Oh, really?
You could talk about anything as long as you put sociology on it.
That's cake for. My goodness. No, my goodness. That Charlie, we don't know the world, okay? And many, for example, the poverty people, the poor, the very poor, they get those people and then trained.
Yeah. Right. You're focusing too much on that right now. We're talking about the big picture of the whole world. You're talking about one religion and how they train people to do these specific things. And what the book's focusing on the idea how this affects the whole world, how it affects all of us, not just one particular group.
Particular. You talk about general, so it becomes particular, and that's what I'm saying this time.
Okay, I got you.
So,
All right.
no words.
No words? What do you mean no words?
I mean, no added words.
No added words. Okay, tell the audience what they can do.
Guys, my husband is so mean. You land the plane. No, I don't.
I will land the plane. Okay, guys, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell for notification. Give us a thumbs up. Share this for algorithm purposes to make Janice famous. And most of all, keep this ministry in prayer. And if you've been blessed by this video, you can donate PayPal link that's underneath the about section or most videos. God bless.
God bless.